did it! You ran your first 5K. That is an accomplishment that anybody could be proud of, taking the journey from not running to running their first 5 kilometer race. It might have been slow, it might have been miserable, but you did it, and that is a huge accomplishment. What's more, you caught the running bug, and now you want to learn how to progress in the 5K. Today is going to be all about getting faster, not just in the 5K, but whatever race that has made you feel the urge to run and to run more and faster. There's a Silicon Valley concept that is enjoyment is efficiency. And since Silicon Valley is basically the devil these days, another example of this is Alyssa Liu, the figure skater in the previous Olympics, who actually took some time away from the pursuit of becoming a world-class figure skater after 2022 in Beijing, where she was feeling as if there was too much pressure on her. It's a long and interesting story, but she blew up on the internet when she returned to figure skating because her approach to it this time was to basically fun max and do what she wanted when she wanted with her training, as long as it aligned with the ultimate goal of enjoyment. This concept of enjoyment is efficiency and fun maxing has been present in my training since I started again, and especially over the last year. And I think it's actually the key to unlocking faster times that so few people are utilizing. First of all, what is fun maxing? Fun maxing isn't just going out to the club and, eating cheeseburgers all the time and running only when you feel like it. It's finding what you love about running and focusing on that. Of course, seen through the lens of running. This could be any craft. If you like woodworking, maybe there's a tool that I don't know anything about woodworking, but maybe you really love lathing. And so making chair legs is just the best thing in the world to you. And the way that you're going to improve your skills the most is by lathing the heck out of some wood. Whereas maybe the planer is not, this is stretching my knowledge of woodworking, maybe the planer is not the most enjoyable thing to you because it's difficult to use or something. So maybe you don't do as much planing and you focus on your lathing. Another example is soccer. For me, I never really enjoyed playing because at the time that I would have been playing soccer, I was a little chubby boy. I instead entertained myself with a soccer ball by trying to dribble it as effectively as I can and doing tricks like the rainbow and so on. So that I was fun maxing my skills with the soccer ball by focusing on fancy footwork and things of that nature, and not maybe some of the more important things like running and shooting. With running, how fun maxing has appeared to me, and this is something that I see tons of differences between runners in my run club and just on the internet. I love mileage. If you follow this channel, you'll know I'm a mileage junkie. The last 4 weeks ran 110 plus miles. This week, I might take a slight down week down to about 100. I'm a mileage junkie. This is what I enjoy about running. It doesn't have to be fast. It probably isn't going to be very slow either, but it's going to be a lot. And I have a unique ability to want to do that. It's not something that I'm forcing myself to do every week, although not every run do I feel like doing, but it's something that I know once I do it, I will feel so good. And I really enjoy it on the type A fun and sometimes the type B fun level. The first step for you to fun max your way to a faster 5K is self-reflect. Look at what you liked about your training to get to the start line in the 5K. Maybe you didn't do any specific workouts, but you really enjoyed a particular location that you were running. Maybe it was driving out to the trails in the early morning that got you excited to get out for your run. Maybe you did do specific training and you did like a 400 workout, or you did 8x400 at whatever pace was possible for you. Or maybe it was like me and maybe you enjoyed doing those slightly longer runs. Maybe you were working up to your long run being 10 miles and that was what gave you excitement in training for your faster 5K. For a very long time in your running journey, you can do basically anything to get better as long as you're doing more of it. For me, after nearly 3 years of running, I still have a lot of aerobic capacity that I could build, and I'm not done building it. It takes a very long time to build such a broad base to have really strong performance in any race. Now, my channel is generally focused on the marathon, and it will take obviously longer to build that base for the marathon, but it's still true that you can develop more and more aerobic fitness for the 5K that you could pull from when you go to race at your highest speed. So that's your first step, is to self-reflect. And then when you figured out what it was about the training that you loved so much, getting to the start line and completing your first 5K, and what the bug was that done bit you in the first place, once you figure that out, lean into it, pursue it. That's the second step. Pursue what is fun to you and ignore everything else. Don't listen to influencers. Don't listen to me, even. Like, if I tell you to run higher miles and you're like, but dude, I only want to run 800 workouts. That's all I want to do. That's what I'm going to do to get better at the 5K. I don't care. That's insane. I don't care, but just do that if that's what's going to be fun to you. Now, there are some realities that you're going to have to face in pursuing your chosen fun thing, right? Like, you can't just, realistically, you can't just run 800 workouts every day. You're going to explode your legs, but you'll learn that lesson if you do decide to run 800s as a workout every single day. You'll get injured and you'll learn your lesson. You won't do that anymore. Or you'll understand going into it that, you know, there's your candy and your vegetables, and you still have to, like, consistently run every day, or not every day, but a reasonable amount of days per week, like 4 to 5 days per week, to keep your fitness up, to chase that faster time. And if you've been bitten by the bug and you're doing the things that you like, there should be no problem to run those days of the week, because you'll be running the types of runs that you want to be running. First step was to self-reflect. The second step was to pursue. And the third step is to iterate. So it's finding what you really liked. Maybe, here's a good example, maybe you really like hill sprints. Now, that's not typically something a beginner 5K budding runner would be pursuing every day, is hill sprints. But this is something that a lot of coaches, especially in the marathoning world, do recommend to build strength in your legs. So maybe somehow that information reached your ears. Maybe it's this video that made it reach your ears, and you really have taken to hill sprints. But realistically, it's going to leave your legs trashed every day, so you can't really do that every day. So maybe you want to incorporate some longer, slower miles, but that really bores you. And believe me, I know that the really slow, like, recovery pace miles can be boring, and it takes longer to get your run done, and it doesn't feel like as much of an accomplishment. I get it, but maybe you do those miles in a cool place instead. So this is where you get to iterate. It's like, maybe you take the thing you don't like and try to inject some fun into it. So for example, there's a place near me that's on one of the waterfalls along the Genesee River. And sometimes on my long runs, on my 20-mile long runs every weekend, I get pretty bored. And sometimes I'm really not fresh enough to run them quickly to make it not be boring. And so I will go somewhere that I don't normally go. It's far enough away where it's not really within my territory, so to speak, in terms of typical daily runs. And so it's fresh, it's refreshing, and I get to see cool waterfalls. So let's bring this all together and look at a model for a hypothetical person that's just run their very first 5K and was bitten by the bug. Maybe what this person did for training is they left the house and ran a really fast 5K 3 days a week, and that's how they trained. Now, most people will tell you not to do that because you're going to eventually get hurt. I'm not here to tell you not to do that. You can continue to do that if you want. If you want to do that as your training plan for continuing to get faster at the 5K, and you continue to run as quickly as you can for the 5K every time you run, and that's what you do, and then you sign up for another 5K like 3 months from now, as long as you don't get injured, you actually will get faster. And if that's what is making you enjoy running, I say continue to do that. And maybe add some other things in that could build upon what you're doing. So instead of one of those days a week running a 5K as fast as you can, maybe you run a 10K as fast as you can, or maybe slightly slower than as fast as you can. You got to play with it a little bit. It's about play. This is the whole idea of fun maxing, is you are trying to play with the ingredients that you like and create and alchemize other ingredients that you like. This all will serve to build a beautiful cake of training goodness. That is our example person. It's a person that liked running 5Ks as fast as they can. They've self-reflected. That's what they liked about training for a 5K. They continued to pursue that. That's the second step. And then the third step is they started to iterate. They started to implement maybe running a 10K as fast as they can, or maybe they try to do some mile repeats as fast as they can, or maybe just one of their days where they weren't running before, they add a single 1 mile run, but as fast as they can, because if that's what they like doing, might as well do it. Now, I really don't actually recommend you do that because you probably will get injured, but you'll learn that lesson. And that's part of the journey that any runner goes on, is you will eventually hurt yourself in some way, whether minor or major. To me, it's about acknowledging that risk and balancing it with, well, I really enjoy doing this specific thing, and so I'm going to do that until something bad happens. Man, I'd be a bad coach. I would just encourage you all to do whatever the heck you want, because that's how I am training. Don't try this at home. Do try this at home. Do whatever you want, because that's how you fun max. So with that, I appreciate your attention, and as always, stay in motion.